Before I say anything else, I need you to know something. What I'm about to share with you isn't a hack. It's not a trick. It's not something you will forget 5 minutes after this video ends. It's something I have to live through years of frustration, false starts, and quiet shame to actually understand. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. It will change the way you look at every unfinished goal, every someday project, every version of yourself you keep putting off. I found this quote recently. It's Stephen Bartlett's book, The Diary of a CEO. It's the book I am currently reading. In it, he writes this, attributing it to Leonardo da Vinci. Here it is. One can have no smaller or greater mastery than mastery of oneself. You will never have a greater or lesser dominion than that over yourself. The height of your success is gauged by your self-mastery, the depth of your failure by your self-abandonment. Those who cannot establish dominion over themselves will have no dominion over others. Now, I want to be honest with you, because that's what this video is really about. Honesty over comfort. What matters to me is the truth sitting inside those words. And that's what I want to show you today, backed by both lived experience and real science. So stay with me, because in the next 11 minutes, I'm going to walk you through the hidden knowledge, the part that nobody tells you, about why the most important changes in your life are always the hardest ones to start. And I'm going to give you 6 steps, grounded in real research, to finally move through it, not with guilt, with practicality. Let me tell you where this comes from for me personally. I grew up in a family where the most important things were always the hardest to actually do. Not the easy stuff. Those got handled immediately. I mean the real things. The conversations that needed to happen. The decisions that couldn't be postponed forever. Those got pushed, delayed, quietly avoided year after year. And for a long time, I thought that was a personal failure, a character flaw, something wrong with me. Especially because I was a part of it throughout my childhood, throughout my young adult years. I was bystander of this. And it took years of research and a lot of uncomfortable self-work to understand what was actually happening. The avoidance wasn't laziness, it was protection. Here's the part that changed everything for me. Doing something new, uncertain, unfamiliar. Your nervous system doesn't read that as opportunity. It reads it as threat. Because stepping into something new means a new story is beginning. And that means abandoning the comfort zone you have built your identity around. That's the part that still gets me, if I'm honest. The changes that matter most, the ones that would actually move our lives forward, are wired to feel the most dangerous. Not because we are broken, because that's how the system is built, our inner system. And here's what I've come to believe. Whether you call it luck, balance, or something deeper, the universe doesn't let things sit forever. If you don't act, eventually something acts for you. A health scare, a relationship ending, a job disappearing. Not as punishment, no, but as redirection. The truth is, when you don't choose your own path, life will choose a path for you. and it's rarely the comfortable one. There's no version of this where it's too late for you. This video is your starting point. Let's build it step by step. So, why does this happen? Biologically, psychologically. Let's get into the actual science behind it, and then the 6 steps that will get you moving. Stick around because step 4 is the one almost nobody talks about. Here's what researchers have actually found. Procrastination and avoidance aren't time management problems. They are emotion management problems. I will repeat this because it changed the perception on the whole thing for me. Procrastination and avoidance aren't time management problems. They are emotion management problems. Studies on procrastination show the behavior comes from prioritizing short-term emotional relief over long-term goals. Your brain trades the discomfort of starting now for instant relief and leaves the consequences for later. That's not weakness. That's a survival mechanism doing exactly what it evolved to do. There's also a neurological reason it feels so heavy. Brain imaging research has found a heightened activity in pain and threat related regions when people who procrastinate even think about the task they are avoiding. Your brain isn't exaggerating. To it, that uncertain, unfamiliar task genuinely registers like danger. There's also something deeper going on: identity. When we avoid something, we are often protecting how we see ourselves. If you think of yourself as capable, you might avoid a task that could expose your limits, because putting it off feels safer than risking that exposure. I will repeat that one because I think that many of you will relate to it. If you think of yourself as capable, you might avoid a task that could expose your limits, because putting it off feels safer than risking that exposure. The force that clouds our ability to act upon this logic is usually ego. It convinces us that staying small and safe is wiser than risking who we think we are. So if you've ever felt confused about why you can want something so badly and still not move toward it, this is why. It was never about willpower, it's about safety. Now let's fix it. 6 steps. Practical, doable, starting today. Step 1. Name the avoidance without shame. Before anything changes, you have to call it what it is, without punishing yourself for it. Pick one thing you've been postponing, just one. Now say it out loud, plainly, with no filter. For example, I am avoiding this because it feels unsafe, not because I am lazy. I repeat, I am avoiding this because it feels unsafe, not because I am lazy. This matters because shame keeps the avoidance loop running. Procrastination is rarely about laziness. More often, it's the nervous system signaling that something feels unsafe, overwhelming, or impossible. Naming it accurately is the first real act of self-mastery, because you can't redirect what you refuse to look at honestly. Step 2. Shrink the first step until it's almost embarrassingly small. The biggest mistake people make here is trying to leap. You don't leap out of avoidance. You take one small, almost laughably small step. Don't write the report. Open the document and write one sentence. Don't fix your finances. Open the app and look at one number. This works because even minimal engagement with a fear task weakens the avoidance pattern over time. And starting teaches the brain that the discomfort is tolerable and temporary. You are not trying to finish. You are trying to prove to your nervous system that beginning won't destroy you. Step 3. Use self-compassion, not self-criticism. Here's where most people sabotage themselves without realizing it. They try to bully themselves into action. It backfires. Self-criticism increases the very threat response that caused the avoidance in the first place. Instead, try this short phrase when you sit down to start. This is a moment of difficulty. Many people feel exactly this. May I be kind to myself right now? Research on this kind of 3-part self-compassion practice has shown it reduces anxiety and increases people's willingness to actually start the task. This isn't softness instead of discipline. This is what makes real discipline possible. Step 4. Anchor the task to a value, not an outcome. This is the one almost nobody tells you. Don't tell yourself, I have to finish this project, but rather tell yourself, I am acting like someone who values growth, or I am someone who follows through regardless of outcome. I will repeat this one. Do not tell yourself, I have to finish this project. Rather, tell yourself, I am acting like someone who values growth, or I am someone who follows through regardless of outcome. Why does this matter so much? When identity is tied to outcomes, every task becomes a referendum on your worth. But when identity is anchored instead in values like effort, curiosity, or growth, the emotional stakes of taking actions go down. You stop performing for an outcome and start practicing who you actually want to be. That shift alone will change how heavy your to-do list feels. Step 5. Build a step-by-step, realistic plan, not a perfect one. This is where gratitude, discipline, and consistency come in, not as vague virtues, but as a working method. Take the goal you are avoiding and break it into the smallest sequence of steps you can, not the ideal version, the realistic one for the actual person you are this week with the actual energy you actually have. Each evening, write down one small win from the day, even a tiny one, before you write down what's next. That's the gratitude piece. It keeps your brain registering progress instead of only registering distance from done. Consistency isn't about intensity. It's about showing up at a sustainable size every day without needing to feel ready. Step 6. Expect the discomfort and let it confirm you are on the right track. The first step is always the hardest and most uncomfortable. That discomfort isn't a sign you are doing it wrong. It's the opposite, my friend. Avoidance prevents new learning. It blocks the corrective experience of discovering that you can begin, be imperfect, even be seen, and still come out safe. The only way your nervous system learns that the new story isn't actually dangerous is by walking into it and surviving it every single time. So when it feels uncomfortable, that's not the warning sign, that's the work. Here's the truth I want you to live with today. You are not behind. You are not broken. You aren't the only one who has stared at the most important thing in your life and felt your whole body resist starting it. Here's the truth I want you to live with today. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not the only one who has stared at the most important thing in your life and felt your whole body resist starting it. When I got licensed for Zumba instructor back in November 2024, It took me one whole year to start my own classes, in-person classes, 1 year later in November 2025. And this was exactly what I was feeling. It's the thing that I'm very passionate about. I am doing it with gratitude, with the fire in me. I'm really eager to learn new choreographies, to do all the research and everything. I was ready for one whole year, but when I thought about starting, my whole body resisted and I felt really uncomfortable. But then there was a moment of clarity, and I just decided that I have to step into this story, that I am enough to stand in front of the people that came to my classes and be the best version of myself I can be that day, and still make mistakes. That is okay. I still think for myself that first in-person class that I had back in November 2025 was one of the most scariest things I did in my whole life. I was dancing Zumba for 7 years before I got licensed to be an instructor myself. I was dancing every single week for 12 months, and it took me quite a while to become an instructor, and I needed one whole year to do the first in-person class. But when I actually did it, when I stood in front of that people that came to my first class, and I did my 1 hour long first class, such a liberating feeling. I want you to know that what I talk about today, it comes from a personal experience. It comes for long years of bettering myself and preparing to do the tasks that need to be done, to overcome all the obstacles, to get to that point where you start living out of passion, out of purpose, for greater good for you and for people. Because this is a process every single one of us walks through in our own way, on our own timeline. Not all at once, but step by step. With a real plan instead of a perfect one. With gratitude for what's already working. With discipline that's kind to you, not cruel. With consistency that doesn't demand you feel ready before you begin. There is no deadline on your own redemption. The version of you that finally moves toward what matters most, she or he is not somewhere far away. That version starts with the smallest, most uncomfortable first step taken today, taken imperfectly, taken anyway. You don't have to do this with guilt. You get to do this with practicality and with grace for yourself along the way. If this gave you even one moment of clarity today, I would love to know. Tell me in the comments which step you're going to start with this week. I read every single one. And if you want more of this, real research-backed practical guidance for actually changing your life instead of just talking about it, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. I will see you in the next one. Until then, take that one small